Once upon a time, in a beautiful part of the world called Akoko village, there lived a woman named Amani. She wasn't much liked by the village people because she had a sharp tongue and a hot temper. Amani had 3 sons, and oh, they were handsome, like the brightest stars in the night sky. But there was a big problem, even though many girls would sneak peeks at them, dreaming of being their bride. None dare come close. Why, because of Amani, their mother, who was as tricky to deal with as a slippery fish. Kofi, the eldest of her sons, was as kind as the morning sun and gentle like a cool breeze. He had a heart full of love and hands ready to help anyone in need. As he grew up like a plant reaching for the sun, Kofi thought about finding a bride, someone to share smiles with, to walk side by side under the baobab tree, and to tell stories to under the moonlight. One day, Kofi met a girl named Amma. She was pretty like the pink sky at dawn and had a laugh that sounded like music. Kofi thought, this must be the one. So he brought her home, hoping his mother would see what he saw in Amma. But oh no, Amani did not like this one bit. Before Amma could even say good day, Amani decided she was not right. You have no manners. Amani was so mad. She did something very mean. She poured hot water, making poor Amma run away and never come back. Wood spread across Aoko like wildfire. "Stay away from Amani's sons," people whispered, "or you'll get more than you bargained for." From that day, girls would run away like scared rabbits whenever Kofi or his brothers came near. It was a sad time for Kofi, who just wanted to find someone to share his heart with. But no matter how gentle or kind he was, the shadow of his mother's temper scared all the potential. Sweethearts away? Poor Kofi. His heart was big, but his problem was bigger. And that was just the beginning of a story, filled with twists and tunes, like the winding paths of a Akoko village. One day decided he had enough of the sad, lonely days. "I will find someone who doesn't know about Amani's hot temper," he said to himself. So he packed a small bag, waved goodbye to the tall trees of Akoko, and set off. He walked and walked past hills that looked like giant sleeping animals until he reached a village he had never seen before. The sun was kissing the earth goodnight, and Kofi's legs felt like they were made of mushed yams from all the walking, just when Kofi's throat felt as dry as the dusty road. He saw a lady she was walking like. She was part of a beautiful dance, a pot of water balanced perfectly on her head. Her smile was like a cool breeze on a hot day. "Excuse me, young lady," Kofi said, his voice cracking like dry leaves. "Could you tell me where I can find some water? My throat is as dry as the desert." The lady, whose name was Tani, looked at Kofi with eyes as gentle as a dose. "The stream is far," she said, "but you can have some of my water." She offered him a drink from her pot, and oh, that water was sweet. It was like tasting a little bit of the sky. After drinking, Kofi felt better. He wanted to thank Tani, not just with words, but by making sure she got home safely, as the night had begun to spread its dark blanket over the village. Tani agreed, and together they walked to her hut, talking and laughing like old friends. Tani's heart was as big as her smile, and she offered to find Kofi a place to stay. She took him to her neighbor's hut, where he was welcome to rest his tired feet and stay the night. Tani even cooked for him, making a simple meal taste like the finest feast with her kindness. The next morning, Kofi woke up with the sun, feeling like a new man. He hurried to thank Tani, who was already up, her face bright and welcoming as the morning sun. "I'm Coffee from Ayoko village," he said, his heart feeling light and happy. Sawani gave him a smile soft and shy, and said, "I'm Tani." Looking at Tani, Kofi saw her beauty, not just in how she looked, but in her gentle calmness and her kindness. She was like a precious gem, shining quietly in a world that often forgot to notice. Such treasures. Kofi's heart danced a little dance. He thought, maybe, just maybe, the stars have led me to someone special. Tani, with her long dark hair and eyes that held stories of the moon and stars, saw Kofi not just as a stranger from another village, but as a kindred spirit. The meeting felt like a little bit of magic in the ordinary world, and so Kofi's journey to find water turned into a journey to find a heart that matched his own in this new village, away from the shadows of his mother's temper. Kofi found a sparkle of hope, and that sparkle was named Talani. In the days that followed, Kofi's life was like a new song filled with happiness and light. Every morning he would wake up thinking of Tolani, her smile brightening his day before it even started. He saw her kindness like rain that gently falls on thirsty land, and it made flowers of love bloom in his heart. Even though Kofi was a stranger in this new village, his gentle ways and kind heart won him many friends. He found work helping people with their farms, and they paid him with more than just coins. They gave him smiles and a place in their community. But of all the people in the village, it was Tani who made Kofi's heart sing. Tani was like the moon in Kofi's night sky, quiet, beautiful, and bright. Her kindness was not just an act, it was who she was. And Kofi, he was in love. Not the kind of love that shouts loudly for all to hear, but a love that was deep and true, like the quiet river that flows steadily through the forest. In this new village, girls would sometimes flutter around Kofi like butterflies drawn to his kindness and strong, gentle ways. But Kofi's heart was like a tree with deep roots firmly planted in the ground. No matter how the winds of attention tried to sway him, his heart remained steady, pointing always towards Tani. As days turned into weeks, Kofi and Tani spent more time together. They talked about everything and nothing, from the way the stars seemed to tell stories in the night sky to how the rain felt like whispers of the ancestors. With each shared laugh and each shared silence, their bond grew stronger, weaving them closer together like threads in a beautiful cloth. Kofi knew he wanted to protect Tani, to be a shelter for her in a world that wasn't always kind. He thought about his mother Amani and her temper that burned hotter than the midday sun. But in this village, under the gentle gaze of the moon and stars, Amani's shadow seemed far away. Here with Tani, Kofi dared to dream of a future bright, with love and warmth. And so, in a place far from the troubles of Akoko village, love blossomed like a rare flower, nurtured by kindness and watered by shared dreams. Kofi and Tani, two hearts finding each other in a wide world, began to write their own story, a story not of loneliness and shadows, but of love and light. In Tani, Kofi found not just love, but a new beginning. And in Kofi, Tani found a heart that matched her own, gentle and true. Together they stood at the threshold of tomorrow, hand in hand, ready to step into a future filled with the promise of happiness. After many sunny days and star-filled nights, Kofi knew it was time to take Talani to meet Amani, his mother, whose temper was as famous in Akoko as the big old baobab tree in the center of the village. Kofi's heart was like a little bird fluttering with worry. What if Mother doesn't like her? What if she scares Tani away? He thought. But looking into Tani's eyes, calm and trusting, Kofi found a spark of hope. So they journeyed back to Akoko, the village where Kofi had grown up. The path was familiar, but Kofi's steps were hesitant. As they neared his home, Kofi took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm of butterflies in his belly. Amani was sitting outside under the shade of the baobab tree, weaving a cap. As her fingers danced between the threads, her face was stern, like a mask carved from wood. Kofi cleared his throat. "Mother, I have someone I want you to meet. This is Talani." Tani stepped forward, her grace like the gentle flow of a river. She greeted Amani with a voice soft and sweet. "Good day, Ma." What happened next was as surprising as finding a flower blooming in the dry season. Amani's face, usually so quick to show her displeasure, softened like the sky at dawn. A smile, warm and genuine, spread across her face as she welcomed Tani. "Ah, welcome, my child. You have the glow of the morning sun." Kofi's eyes widened, in shock. This was not the welcome he had braced for. This was not the Amani he knew. He had prepared for a storm, but found himself standing in sunlight. He watched, puzzled and relieved, as his mother and Tani talked like old friends reunited. Amani's warm welcome was like a cool breeze on a hot day. Kofi couldn't believe his ears when Amani laughed, a sound he hadn't heard in a long time. It was as if the presence of Talani had woven a spell of peace around Amani, calming the stormy seas within her. Kofi felt a weight lift from his shoulders. His mother's acceptance of Talani was like the first rain after a long, dry spell, refreshing and full of hope. He smiled, watching the two most important women in his life chatting and laughing under the baobab tree. It was a moment Kofi wanted, to capture and keep forever, like a precious gem. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with strokes of orange and pink, Kofi felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in a long time. The unexpected welcome of Tani was a gift, a blessing that filled Kofi's heart with joy. As they said their goodbyes, Nana hugged Tani, whispering words of welcome into her ear. Kofi and Tani walked away hand in hand under a sky filled with stars that seemed to shine just for them. The shadow of Nana's wrath seemed a distant memory, and ahead lay a path lit by the promise of love and acceptance. In that moment, Kofi knew that no matter what the future held, they had taken a step towards a new beginning. A beginning filled with the hope of happiness, love, and the warm embrace of family. The days turned warmer, and the laughter in Kofi's home grew louder, a melody of joy and newfound happiness. But as the saying goes in Akoko village, the calm sea is not always safe for swimming. And so it was with Nana, whose warm welcome of Tani was but the calm before a storm. Then one sunny afternoon, as unexpected as a southern rain in the dry season, Nana arrived at their doorstep, bags in hand, claiming she missed Tani and wanted to spend time with her. Kofi felt a stir of old worries. Why has Mother come? Is it truly to spend time with Tani? Or does the storm still lurk within her, waiting to burst forth? Kofi was worried, remembering the past. But Tani, with her ever-present kindness, welcomed Nana, hoping that the love and peace of their home would warm even the coldest of hearts. And so Nana stayed, and for a time all seemed well. Kofi and Tani continued to thrive in their love and work under the watchful eyes of Nana, who appeared to have changed. But had she truly, or was this just the calm before another storm? Only time would tell. As days turned into weeks, the peaceful village life began to show signs of strain. Nana, who had been welcomed into Kofi and Tani's home with open arms, slowly let her true colors shine through, colors as dark as a moonless night. At first, it was small things. Nana would ask Tani to fetch water from the farthest well or to prepare meals that took hours to cook. Tani, with her heart full of patience and kindness, did as asked, thinking it was her duty to make her mother-in-law feel comfortable and welcome. Nana didn't stop there. She followed Tani to the market, watching her like a hawk watches a hen. When Tani would sell her beautiful crafts and smile at her customers, Nana would take Tani's earnings from the market, claiming she was managing it for the couple's future. Tani's once thriving store saw its sparkle dim as Nana's grip tightened. Then came the most heart-wrenching act of all. Nana discovered Tani was expecting a secret bundle of joy, a surprise Tani had yet to share with Kofi, wanting to surprise him upon his return. Nana, with intentions as smoky as a stormy sea, started mixing madness leaves and other harmful concoctions, hoping to rid Tani of the child she carried. Tani, enduring this cruelty, found herself in a sea of silence, bearing the weight of Nana's actions alone. She hoped for Kofi's return, praying his presence would calm the storm that his mother had become. Each day, Tani woke with the sun, her spirit dimming under Nana's dark shadow. She worked tirelessly, her once bright smile now a rare sight. Yet through it all, Tani's kindness never wavered. She continued to treat Nana with respect, hoping that beneath the thorns there might still be a rose waiting to bloom. The village whispered of the changes, of the darkness that had settled over Kofi and Tani's home. Still, Tani carried on, her heart holding on to the love she and Kofi shared, a beacon in the night guiding her through the storm. Nana's true colors, a tapestry of cruelty and spite, were fully revealed, leaving Tani to wonder if the warmth of love could ever melt a heart so cold. And as she endured, Tani clung to the hope that Kofi's return would bring back the light that Nana's shadow had so cruelly snuffed out. When Kofi came back, he was all smiles, excited to see Tani and tell her about everything he saw on his journey. But as soon as he stepped into his home, his smile faded a little. His mother, Nana, was waiting for him, not with open arms, but with a long face full of sad stories. Nana told Kofi, "Oh, my dear son, it's been so tough without you here. Tani, she doesn't treat me nicely. I feel so alone." Kofi couldn't believe his ears. Tani, the sweetest pear in the basket, being mean to his mother? Confused and worried, Kofi went to find Tani, who was humming a song while cooking, her way of spreading love in the home. "Tani," Kofi said, his voice heavy, "Mother says you haven't been nice to her. What's going on?" Tani was shocked, her eyes wide, almost dropping the spoon. "But Kofi, I've been caring for her just like I care for our home." "Don't understand why she'd say that," she replied, her voice shaking like a leaf in the wind. The house felt smaller that day as misunderstandings piled up like too many clothes in a basket. Amani, watching from a corner, almost seemed to have a shadow. Of a smile, Tani kept trying harder than before to show Kofi her true heart. Tani thought about how she served meals with extra love, cleaned with extra care, and even sung Amani's favorite songs, but it was tough with Amani. Whispering like a mischievous wind, Kofi started looking at Tani with unsure eyes. Tani felt like she was walking on a path full of thorns, trying to reach Kofi and remind him of the love and trust that once blossomed brightly between them each day. Talani woke up with the sun, hoping that today would be the day when Kofi would see the truth, the day when love would clear the fog of misunderstandings. She believed in their love, a love that was strong enough to weather any storm, even one brewed by Amani's tricky winds. One bright morning, Tani, with a heart full of hope, prepared a special meal. She thought maybe a delicious meal will warm everyone's heart and clear away the misunderstandings. She put extra care into it, seasoning the food with love and garnishing it with kindness. But as they sat down to eat, Amani suddenly pushed her plate away, her eyes wide with fear. "Poison, Toan is trying to poison me," she cried out, her voice echoing like thunder across the village. Kofi, his mind tangled like a fish in a net, didn't know what to believe. "Mother, why would Tani do such a thing?" he asked, confusion painting his face. Amani, tears streaming down her cheeks, convinced Kofi with her words. "I know what I tasted. She wants me gone." Kofi, caught between the woman he loved and the mother he respected, felt lost at sea without a paddle, with a heavy heart. Kofi turned to Talani. "Tani, my love, until we sort this out, you must go back to your mother's house, Toan." Her heart, breaking like a clay pot dropped on the ground, packed her things, tears blurring her vision, but her dignity intact. Tani's mother, Iabier, known throughout the village for her wisdom in herbs and healing, heard of her daughter's plight and marched to Kofi's home like a storm ready to burst. "Amani," she said, her voice steady, like a calm before the storm, "why do you accuse my daughter of such wickedness?" The village gathered, drawn by the storm of words and emotions, witnessing the confrontation. Amani, cornered by the truth, and Tani's mother's unyielding gaze, found herself tangled in her own web of lies. The air was thick with anticipation as the truth began to unravel like morning mist under the sun. The village waited breath held to see whether love and truth would cut through the knot of lies and bring back harmony to the hearts that had been torn apart in the heart of the village with everyone's eyes on her. Amani felt the walls closing in the air was thick with tension, like before a big storm. Tani's mother, with a look as sharp as a knife, asked Amani again, "Why, Amani? Why accuse my daughter?" Amani, feeling like a mouse trapped by cats, pulled out a charm hidden in her clothes. It was a dark and twisted thing, looking as mean as Amani's lies. I did it," she finally burst out her words, tumbling like rocks down a hill. "I was jealous. I didn't want Kofi to love anyone more than me," the village guessed. The truth was out like a dark cloud, finally raining down. Its secrets Amani told of her plots, her spells to keep her son, single her lies about Tani, even her cruel hope to harm Tani's unborn child. The air turned heavy with her confessions, each word a weight added to her son's hearts. Kofi, his heart sinking like a stone in a river, couldn't believe what he was hearing. Shame wrapped around him and his brothers, a cloak too heavy to wear. The village, once a place of love and laughter, felt cold and silent. The elders spoke their voices, carrying the weight of justice. "Amani, you must leave," they said, their decision as firm as the ground beneath their feet. "Your heart has brought too much darkness here." So Amani was sent away to wander far from the village. She had tried to rule with her wickedness. Kofi and his brothers, heads bowed in shame, could only watch as their mother disappeared into the distance. Kofi, his heart aching with regret and eyes open to the truth, sought out Talani. He found her by the river, where they had shared many moments of laughter and love. "Tani," he said, his voice barely a whisper, "I have been a fool, blinded by lies. Can you ever forgive me?" Tani, her heart as white as the sky, saw the sincerity in Kofi's eyes, the love that had never truly left Kofi. She replied, her voice soft but strong, "It is love that brought us together, and it is love that will keep us together. We will rebuild stronger and wiser." And so Kofi and Talani, hand in hand, returned to the village, their steps light with the promise of new beginnings. The village, in turn, welcomed them back. The story, a reminder of the strength of love and the power of forgiveness. As for Amani, her path was a lonely one, her heart heavy with the weight of her deeds. But in the end, it was a tale of love's triumph over deceit, a tale that would be told for generations to come. In a Akoko village where hearts are wide and forgiveness is a bridge to a brighter tomorrow. As the story of Kofi and Talani, of Amani's downfall and the village's triumph over wickedness, weaved its way into the fabric of Akoko, it left a legacy of hope. It reminded everyone that even in the face of great darkness, the light of love, the strength of a united community, and the power of redemption can guide us back to happiness. And so Kofi and Tani lived surrounded by friends, family, and a village that had stood with them through the storm. Their love, once tested, now unbreakable, became a beacon for all, a happily ever after. That wasn't just an end, but a beginning of a story that would be told for generations to come. I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please like the video, comment what you learned from the tale, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more enchanting tales just like this.